Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Croley, Chief Medical Officer at Empire Medical Training. One of the most common questions that we're asked in our neurotoxin course is, will Botox work for migraines? Botox for migraines is a trending topic, and it's something that's actually an FDA-approved on-label indication, but it's often asked about in our aesthetic practices as well. So I think it's important that we review this and that we understand Botox for migraines and why this works. So we'll start with just a really basic overview of what our neurotoxins do. So Botox is the brand that is approved on label for treatment of migraines, but we use a lot of our other neurotoxins that have a similar mechanism. They're all botulinum type A that we're using right now to treat some of these things, and especially in our aesthetic clinics. Now, when we look at this, Botox is not just going to stop muscle movement. And I think that's really where we think about Botox in the aesthetic practices. We think, okay, we're going to use Botox to stop the frontalis from moving, to smooth out those forehead lines. It works really differently in migraines. Yes, it stops muscle movement. It doesn't change. That still does the same thing. But there are a number of inflammatory neurotransmitters that are released, especially with migraines. And Botox blocks the release of some of these inflammatory neurotransmitters, so things like glutamate. And there's a host of other ones that's the proposed mechanism of how this works. By blocking those, we basically soften that pain loop. So we're stopping some of these inflammatory neurotransmitters from continuing this cycle of migraines. Okay, so when we look at who qualifies for Botox for migraines, there's a lot of things we have to consider. First of all, patients many times will ask, will my insurance cover this? And for insurance requirements and to be on label, there are quite a few things that the patients have to meet. Probably first and foremost is they're going to have more than 15 migraines per month that hasn't responded to other therapies. Also, it's a certain period of time. This is not just I had a headache for a couple of hours. This is several hours per headache, more than 15 per month. And then you have to be an approved provider to get this approved paid for through insurance. So that means not everybody injecting neurotoxin for aesthetic purposes can be approved to inject Botox for migraines. Now, we could do this on a cash pay basis. We could do this in our practices as a medical provider, but if the patient wants insurance to pay for this, you need to make sure that you are an approved provider on that patient's insurer to get this through that process. We need to confirm the headache. So remember that we need to always evaluate headaches, right? And so if a patient comes to you with a diagnosis of migraine headache and they've been seen by a neurologist or primary care and they've had the appropriate workup, then great, we can go to this treatment. But this is not something that we would want to just treat without confirming the diagnosis. Remember, there are other things that can cause headaches. So there are vascular anomalies, so aneurysms. There are structural changes. So we could have benign or malignant tumors or masses within the brain itself. There are inflammatory conditions outside of migraine. And so we really want to confirm the diagnosis, the type of headache that they're having. We want to screen things for secondary red flags. So just treating with Botox is not a substitute for a workup. Review their prior prevention strategy. So what medications have they been on? What treatments have they tried? What's worked? What's failed? And then set some measurable goals. To me, this is one of the most important parts of this, is setting a measurable goal. One of the interesting things about Botox for migraine specifically is that many patients will not respond to the first treatment. So remember, this is a whole cascade of these inflammatory neurotransmitters, a whole process that's occurring. It's not just muscle movement. So we can stop muscle movement predictably with one Botox treatment. But to basically soften or quiet the noise of these inflammatory neurotransmitters, we usually need repetitive treatments. And so when you look at the responsiveness of patients to Botox treatment for migraines, you will see that this increases with repetitive treatments. So some patients don't respond until after their third treatment. So that number of responders goes up with each subsequent time. So if we're treating the patient for the first time with neurotoxin, we need to set the expectation, hey, a large number of people will not respond this first time. It does not mean you're a non-responder. It means that we may need to repeat this because we're trying to basically decrease transmission of these inflammatory neurotransmitters. So what are our therapeutic goals? for our migraines, and how does that vary from some of our cosmetic goals? So really for migraines, we're trying to prevent headache. We're trying to reduce disease burden, meaning how many hours per day can they function? How many hours are they not able to function because they have a headache? And can we improve that at all? We want to assess them, obviously, in both cases. So with aesthetics, we're assessing things like dynamic movement. We're assessing facial symmetry. With headaches, we're looking at disease burden. How many hours? How many days? Is this affecting them? We want to look at the pattern. What triggers the headaches? When does the headache start? Are they located to one area or another? Is this unilateral? And then when we look at our dosing of our neurotoxin, it's a lot higher. So look at this, it's 155 units every 12 weeks in 31 injection sites. So that's a lot of neurotoxin and a lot of facial aesthetics. When we look, if we just do, upper face or even the whole face, sometimes we're like 60, 80 units. So for migraines, we're using quite a large dose over many injection sites. Now, some of these injection sites overlap. And so we can do things in the frontal part of the face, in the frontalis, in the corrugator region that are fairly close to the areas that are on label and approved for migraine injections. But as we start to move posteriorly and we look at things like the trapezius, the occipitalis, those are not areas that we would typically treat for aesthetic purposes. Contrast that with some of the things we're treating with Botox for aesthetics, and we're able to look and assess those muscle movements. And so in one condition, we're assessing the frequency, the duration, the severity, the location. In aesthetics, we're assessing muscle movement, symmetry, aesthetic concerns, and we're able to tailor the treatments. Now, when we look at anatomy, there's multiple areas that we do treat. We do use Botox, or a neurotoxin, to treat for migraines. And so those muscles include similar muscles. So we can treat the corrugators, the temporalis, the occipitalis, the trapezius. So all of those muscle groups, we will inject neurotoxin for a total of 155 units over 31 injection sites. PREEMPT is the study or the protocol that we use basically to map this and to look at what is fixed injection sites. And so this is irrelevant of movement. These are the 31 injection sites that these patients were treated with regardless of any kind of movement. And so it was a fixed dose, fixed location for all the injections for the patients in this trial. So in the PREEMPT trial, these are the dosing patterns and doses that's approved. So you notice there's 31 injection sites. So 5 units in the procerus, 5 in each corrugator, 5 in each unit, and 5 units in each spot, 4 across the frontalis. 20 units total, so 4 injections of 5 units each into the temporalis. We have 5 and 3 injection spots, or 15 units in each occipitalis. 5 injections on each side of the cervical paraspinal muscles, and 5 and 3 injections along the trapezius. And so this is a total of 31 injection spots. These are all marked in 5 unit each increments. And so that's how we would dose Botox on label according to the PREEMPT trial for migraine injections. Now, what I'll tell you is many people do in the aesthetic practice, they will start treating these areas that I'm going to circle in green. Okay, so these would work really well in an aesthetic practice. We could even treat some of this, especially if they have a unilateral headache. We may only treat that on one side. And if patients get resolution of their headache with that, and they're in a cash-based or cash-paying patient, we don't have to go and do these things occipitally. But if they're not getting response, if they're having migraines, if they're being treated by their neurologist, then consider that many times in aesthetics, we're under-treating the actual on-label way that Botox for migraines has been used traditionally. So for those that were enrolled and that were approved and got in the PREEMPT protocol, we looked at things and we said, is this close enough that we could map this and we could do this fairly similar to how we do aesthetics and still get the same results? And that's what many of us have found in our aesthetic practices, is we can inject areas in a very similar fashion and get adequate control of migraines without using those same number of units. We're not billing insurance. We're telling the patients this is an off-label treatment, and we basically escalate and tailor the dose according to that patient's response over time. Many of them will say, hey, my headaches are much better as long as I'm getting my Botox. But if we're not getting adequate control, if they were controlled and they're no longer controlled, then that's the time that we need to actually consider sending them back for further evaluation or imaging or workup from their neurologist.